Welcome to Beyond a Happy Marriage. I'm Arcadius.
And I'm Monica.
If you are striving for something deeper than just a happy marriage,
if you want a relationship that's truly transformative, that leads to intentional living,
then this podcast is for you.
We are absolutely delighted to bring our conversations to English-speaking couples around the world. When I was 25, a doctor handed me a piece of paper with test results and said, "You have PCOS. It's going to be hard for you to have children." I looked at those results. Testosterone elevated. LH-FSH ratio abnormal. I nodded like I understood, but inside I was terrified. Because even though I was studying reproductive endocrinology, even though I knew what those words mean scientifically, I had no idea what they meant for my life. Today I want to explain PCOS in a way I wish someone had explained it to me back then. Not with medical jargon that makes you feel stupid, not with vague reassurances that everything will be fine, but with truth, with clarity, and with hope. Because I'm here with two beautiful boys after a 10-year journey. And lifestyle changes like fasting played a role in that story. So let's start with the basics. What actually is PCOS? PCOS stands for polycystic ovary syndrome. But here is what's confusing. You can have PCOS without actually having cysts on your ovaries. So the name is misleading. So what is it really? PCOS is when your hormones get out of balance. And this affects three main things. First, your ovaries. Instead of releasing one egg each month like clockwork, your ovaries struggle. Sometimes they release eggs irregularly. Sometimes not at all. This is why your periods might be all over the place, coming every 45 or 60 days, or disappearing for months. Second, your male hormones, androgens. Every woman has testosterone. Yes, it's not just a male hormone, but with PCOS, you make too much of it. This causes acne, unwanted hair on your face or chest, and sometimes hair loss on your head. And third, your insulin. This is the big one. This is where fasting comes in. And this is what we need to understand deeply. Let me explain insulin in the simplest way possible. Every time you eat, your blood sugar goes up. Your pancreas releases insulin. Think of insulin like a key that unlocks your cells so sugar can go inside and give you energy. But with PCOS, something goes wrong. Your cells stop responding to insulin properly. It's like the lock is jammed. So your pancreas makes more insulin to force those doors open. High insulin levels then do two terrible things to your body. One, they tell your ovaries to make more testosterone. More testosterone equals worse PCOS symptoms. And second, they make your body store fat, especially around your middle. And that fat makes insulin resistance even worse. So it's a vicious cycle. And this is where fasting can help break that cycle. But before we go to fasting, you need to understand how doctors diagnose PCOS. Because knowledge is power. And you need to know what those test results actually mean. So when you go to the doctor suspecting PCOS, they will run several tests. Let me explain what each means and why it matters. Test 1. Fasting insulin and blood sugar. They'll ask you not to eat for 8 to 12 hours and then take the blood to measure your blood sugar, so it's glucose, and your insulin level. Why does this matter? If your fasting insulin is high, It means your body is working overtime to control your blood sugar. This is the first signal of insulin resistance. Second test, HOMA-IR. This isn't a separate test. It's a calculation using your insulin and glucose numbers. HOMA-IR stands for Homeostatic Model Assessment of Insulin Resistance. I know, terrible name. But here is what we know and what they mean. If you've got a ratio of 1 to 2, it shows a good insulin sensitivity. 2 to 2.9 indicates mild insulin resistance. And above 3 indicates significant insulin resistance. The third kind of test is testosterone levels. They measure two things: total testosterone, all the testosterone in your body, in your blood, and free testosterone, the active form causing symptoms. But here is what matters more: SHBG, which stands for sex hormone binding globulin. Think of SHBG as a taxi that picks up testosterone and takes it away. When SHBG is low, too much testosterone is floating around freely, causing acne, hair growth, and stopping ovulation. Why am I telling you this? Because fasting increases SHBG. More taxis picking up testosterone, fewer symptoms. The fourth test that they can do is LH and FSH. These are two hormones from your brain that tell your ovaries to work. LH stands for luteinizing hormone, and it triggers ovulation. FSH stands for follicle stimulating hormone, and it helps the eggs grow. In PCOS, LH is often too high compared to FSH. The ratio might be 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 instead of roughly equal. Why does this happen? High insulin makes your brain release too much LH. Too much LH makes your ovaries produce testosterone instead of maturing eggs properly. Again, insulin is the puppet master pulling all these strings. And the fifth test they can do is the ultrasound. They look at your ovaries with ultrasound. With PCOS, they might see lots of small follicles, immature eggs, arranged like a string of pearls. These follicles started to grow, but never matured enough to release the egg. But remember, you can have PCOS without these cysts. The diagnosis isn't about the ultrasound. It's about your symptoms and hormone levels. So when you look at your test results, here is what matters most. High insulin or HOMA-IR, your body needs help with blood sugar control. Low SHBG, the binding globulin, plus high testosterone, too much active testosterone floating around. High LH to FSH ratio, your brain ovary communication is off. And irregular periods or no ovulation, your eggs aren't maturing properly. All of these points back to one root problem: insulin resistance. And this is why fasting can be so powerful for PCOS. Okay, now that you understand what's going wrong in PCOS, let me explain how fasting can help fix it. When you fast for 12 to 16 hours, something amazing happens. Your body runs out of the sugar from your last meal, so it switches from burning sugar to burning fat. During this fasting mode, two things happen. One, your insulin level drops. Remember, insulin is only released when you eat. When you're not eating, your insulin levels fall. This gives your overworked cells a break. They start responding to insulin better again, like cleaning out those jammed locks. And second thing, your cells become more sensitive to insulin. When insulin doesn't come back after you eat, your cells respond properly. You need less insulin to do the same job. What does this mean for PCOS? When insulin drops, your ovaries get the signal to make less testosterone. Your liver makes more SHBG, those taxis that pick up testosterone. Your brain releases less LH, and your cells have a better chance to mature properly. Your body stops storing everything as fat. Well, the research convinced me very much. There was a study in China that recruited 15 women with PCOS, and they hadn't ovulated for months, some even for years. They tried fasting for just 8 hours a day, eating only between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. After only 5 weeks, 73% of them got their periods back. Their insulin resistance dropped by 33%, and their testosterone levels fell. Some started ovulating again after 5 weeks. Now, this was a small study. Not everyone will see results this dramatic, but it showed me something important. When you work with your body's natural rhythm, instead of fighting them, remarkable things can happen. For me, the changes were slower. I didn't see results in 5 weeks, but after months of lifestyle changes that included cycle-sensed fasting, my cycles went from 45, 60 days to 32, 35 days, and I, most importantly, started ovulating more regularly. Did fasting alone get me pregnant? No. It was part of a bigger picture. Fertility awareness, stress management, supplements, about which I talk in different podcasts, prayer, and eventually, yes, 2 healthy pregnancies. But fasting probably gave my body the metabolic reset it desperately needed. Now, I need to be very clear about something. Fasting for PCOS isn't the same for everyone. If you're significantly overweight with PCOS, so BMI over 25 to 30, the research is very encouraging. Fasting can help reset insulin sensitivity and support weight loss, which improves PCOS symptoms. But if you're lean with PCOS, so BMI under 25, you need to be more careful. Your PCOS might be driven more by stress hormones than insulin resistance. Fasting can sometimes make things worse for lean women by increasing cortisol. Also, and this is critical, if you're actively trying to conceive right now, talk to your doctor before starting any fasting protocol. Conservative approaches are best when fertility is your immediate goal. So how do you start? If you have PCOS and want to try fasting, here is how I'd recommend starting. Step 1. Start conservatively. Don't jump into 16 hours fast. Start with 12 hours. Finish dinner by 7. Don't eat breakfast until 7 a.m. That's it. Just 12 hours overnight. Do this for 2 weeks. Track how you feel, how is your energy, how is your mood, your hunger. And step 2. Extend gradually. If 12 hours feels easy, extend to 13 hours. Then 14. Work up to 15, 16 hours maximum for the first half of your cycle, so days 1 to 14. Step 3. Sync to your cycle. And this is crucial for women. Don't fast the same way all month long. Days 1 to 14, so the follicular phase, you can fast 14 to 16 hours. But in your luteal phase, so days 15 until your period, reduce to 12 hours maximum, or don't fast at all. Why? Because in the second half of your cycle, progesterone rises. Your body needs more fuel, not less. Fasting during this time can backfire. And step 4. Eat early. Timing matters. Eating between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. works better than eating between noon and 8 p.m. for PCOS. Why? Your body handles insulin best in the morning. So front load your eating the earlier in the day. And step 5. Focus on what you eat. During your eating window, prioritize protein. They help stabilize your blood sugar. Healthy fats support hormone production. Vegetables, they reduce inflammation. And avoid sugar and refined carbs. They simply spike your insulin level. Fasting helps, but if you break your fast with a bagel and juice, for example, you will undo the benefits. Step 6. Track your cycle. You can use a simple app or a paper and note when your period starts, how long it lasts, any spotting between periods, ovulation signs, and if you're tracking with Natural Family Planning or FAM. If you're looking for cycles to become more regular over time, hopefully moving towards 28 to 35 days. Step 7. Be patient. PCOS took years to develop. It won't reverse in weeks. Give it 3 to 6 months at least and trust the process. Remember, you're not broken. Your body just needs the right conditions to heal. And before we wrap up, I want to say something directly to you. If you've just been diagnosed with PCOS, or if you've been struggling with this for years, you're not broken. Your body is doing exactly what bodies do when they're overwhelmed by the wrong signals. High insulin, constant stress, inflammatory markers, foods, lack of sleep, it's all too much. But your body is also remarkably good at healing when you give it what it needs. For me, that healing came from understanding my cycle, working with it instead of against it, and giving my body regular breaks from food so my insulin could rest. It came from prayer, from my husband's support, from refusing to believe the diagnosis was a life sentence. And yes, it came from science, from understanding what those test results meant and what I could do about them. If this episode helped you understand PCOS better, please share it. Share it with your sister, friend, your cousin who's struggling with irregular cycles. Knowledge is the first step towards healing. Next week on the podcast, we are going to talk about something even more important: fasting and fertility. Because some of you were asking me, if I'm trying to get pregnant, is fasting safe? Will it help or hurt? And that's quite a critical question. And I'm going to answer it with research, nuance, and with my own experience. For more resources, you can visit natprofam.com, where we have blog posts about PCOS, fertility awareness, and supporting your fertility naturally. Everything we discuss on the podcast, we expand in written form on the blog. Until next week, take care of that beautiful, strong, fearfully and wonderfully made body of yours. Bye.